Electronic Arts, Incorporated, also known as EA Games, is an American developer, marketer, publisher and distributor of video games headquartered in Redwood City, California, U.S. Founded and incorporated on May 28, 1982 by Trip Hawkins, the company was a pioneer of the early home computer games industry and was notable for promoting the designers and programmers responsible for its games. In 2011, Electronic Arts was the world's third-largest gaming company by revenue after Nintendo and Activision Blizzard. Currently, EA develops and publishes games under several labels including EA Sports titles, Madden NFL, FIFA, NHL, NCAA Football, NBA Live, and SSX. Other EA labels produce established franchises such as Battlefield, Need for Speed, The Sims, Medal of Honor, Command & Conquer, as well as newer franchises such as Dead Space, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Army of Two, Titanfall and Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, produced in partnership with LucasArts. EA also owns and operates major gaming studios, Tiburon in Orlando, EA Canada in Burnaby, BioWare in Edmonton as well as Montreal, and DICE in Sweden. History: originally, EA was a home computer game publisher. In the late 1980s, the company began developing games in-house and supported consoles by the early 1990s. EA later grew via acquisition of several successful developers. By the early 2000s, EA had become one of the world's largest third-party publishers. On May 4, 2011, EA reported $3.8 billion in revenues for the fiscal year ending March 2011, and on January 13, 2012, EA announced that it had exceeded $1 billion in digital revenue during the previous calendar year. In a note to employees, EA CEO John Ruxitiello called this an incredibly important milestone for the company. EA began to move toward direct distribution of digital games and services with the acquisition of the popular online gaming site Pogo.com in 2001. In 2009, EA acquired the London-based social gaming startup Playfish, and in June 2011, EA launched Origin, an online service to sell downloadable games directly to consumers. In July 2011, EA announced that it had acquired PopCap Games, the company behind hits such as Plants vs. Zombies and Bejeweled. EA continued its shift toward digital goods in 2012, folding its mobile-focused EA Interactive division into other organizations throughout the company, specifically those divisions led by EA Labels President Frank Gibeau, COO Peter Moore, and CTO Rajat Taneja, and EVP of Digital Christian Segistral. 1982 1991. In February 1982, Trip Hawkins arranged a meeting with Don Valentine of Sequoia Capital to discuss financing his new venture, Amazon Software. Valentine encouraged Hawkins to leave Apple Incorporated, in which Hawkins served as Director of Product Marketing, and allowed Hawkins use of Sequoia Capital's spare office space to start the company. On May 28, 1982, Trip Hawkins incorporated and established the company with a personal investment of an estimated $200,000. 7 months later in December 1982, Hawkins secured $2 million of venture capital from Sequoia Capital, Kleiner Perkins Caulfield and Byers, and Seven Rosen Funds. For more than 7 months, Hawkins refined his Electronic Arts business plan. With aid from his first employee, Rich Melman, the original plan was written, mostly by Hawkins, on an Apple II in Sequoia Capital's office in August 1982. During that time, Hawkins also employed 2 of his former staff from Apple, Dave Evans and Pat Marriott, as producers, and a Stanford MBA classmate, Jeff Burton from Atari for international business development. The business plan was again refined in September and reissued on October 8, 1982. Between September and November, employee headcount rose to 11, including Tim Mott, Bing Gordon, David Maynard, and Steve Hayes. Having outgrown the office space provided by Sequoia Capital, the company relocated to a San Mateo office that overlooked the San Francisco Airport landing path. Headcount rose rapidly in 1983, including Don DeGlow, Richard Hillman, Stuart Bonn, David Gardner, and Nancy Fong. He recruited his original employees from Apple, Atari, Xerox PARC, and VisiCorp, and got Steve Wozniak to agree to sit on the board of directors. Hawkins was determined to sell directly to buyers. Combined with the fact that Hawkins was pioneering new game brands, this made sales growth more challenging. Retailers wanted to buy known brands from existing distribution partners. After more flyers were handed out, former CEO Larry Probst arrived as VP of Sales in late 1984 and helped the company sustain growth into $18 million in its third full year. This policy of dealing directly with retailers gave EA higher margins and better market awareness, key advantages the company would leverage to leapfrog its early competitors. In December 1986, David Gardner and Mark Lucasbase moved to the UK to open a European headquarters. Up until that point, publishing of Electronic Arts games, and the conversion of many of their games to compact cassette versions in Europe was handled by Ariel Asoft. Most of the early employees of the company disliked the Amazing Software name that Hawkins had originally chosen when he incorporated the company. While at Apple, Hawkins had enjoyed company off-site meetings at Pajaro Dunes and organized such a planning off-site for EA in October 1982. Hawkins had developed the ideas of treating software as an art form and calling the developers software artists. Hence, the latest version of the business plan had suggested the name Soft Art. However, Hawkins and Mellman knew the founders of Software Arts, the creators of VCCALC, and thought their permission should be obtained. Dan Bricklin did not want the name used because it sounded too similar to Software Arts. However, the name concept was liked by all the attendees. Hawkins had also recently read a best-selling book about the film studio, United Artists, and liked the reputation that company had created. Early advisors Andy Berlin, Jeff Goodby, and Rich Silverstein were also fans of that approach, and the discussion was led by Hawkins and Berlin. Hawkins said everyone had a vote but they would lose it if they went to sleep. Hawkins liked the word electronic, and various employees had considered the phrases electronic artists and electronic arts. Other candidates included Gordon's suggestion of blue light, a reference from the Disney film Tron. When Gordon and others pushed for electronic artists, in tribute to the film company United Artists, Steve Hayes opposed, saying, "We're not the artists, they are." Meaning that the developers whose games EA would publish were the artists. This statement from Hayes immediately tilted sentiment towards Electronic Arts and the name was unanimously endorsed. A novel approach to giving credit to its developers was one of EA's trademarks in its early days. This characterization was even further reinforced with EA's packaging of most of their games in the album cover pioneered by EA because Hawkins thought that a record album style would both save costs and convey an artistic feeling. EA routinely referred to their developers as artists, and gave them photo credits in their games and numerous full-page magazine ads. EA also shared lavish profits with their developers, which added to their industry appeal. Because of this novel treatment, EA was able to easily attract the best developers. The square album cover boxes were a popular packaging concept by Electronic Arts, which wanted to represent their developers as rock stars. In the mid-1980s, Electronic Arts aggressively marketed products for the Commodore Amiga, mistakenly believing that its low price and sophistication would cause the computer to supplant the Apple Macintosh. PC compatibles instead became the dominant personal computer. In 1990, Electronic Arts began producing console games for the Nintendo Entertainment System, after previously licensing its computer games to other console game publishers. Eventually, Trip Hawkins left EA to found the now-defunct 3Do company. 2000–2007, EA is currently headquartered in the Redwood Shores neighborhood of Redwood City, California. Following the retirement and departure of Trip Hawkins in 2000, EA decided to replace its logo with a new one, and Larry Probst took over the reins. In 2004, EA made a multi-million-dollar donation to fund the development of game production curriculum at the University of Southern California's Interactive Media Division. On February 1, 2006, Electronic Arts announced that it would cut worldwide staff by 5%. On June 20, 2006, EA purchased Mythic Entertainment, who are finished making Warhammer Online. After Sega's ESPN NFL 2K5 successfully grabbed market share away from EA's dominant Madden NFL series during the 2004 holiday season, EA responded by making several large sports licensing deals, which include an exclusive agreement with the NFL, and in January 2005, a 15-year deal with ESPN. The ESPN deal gave EA exclusive first rights to all ESPN content for sports simulation games. On April 11, 2005, EA announced a similar, 6-year licensing deal with the Collegiate licensing company for exclusive rights to college football content. Much of EA's success, both in terms of sales and with regards to its stock market valuation, is due to its strategy of platform-agnostic development and the creation of strong multi-year franchises. EA was the first publisher to release yearly updates of his sports rankings: Madden, FIFA, NHL, NBA Live, Tiger Woods, etc. with updated player rosters and small graphical and gameplay tweaks. Recognizing the risk of franchise fatigue among consumers, EA announced in 2006 that it would concentrate more of its effort on creating new original intellectual property. In September 2006, Nokia and EA announced a partnership in which EA becomes an exclusive major supplier of mobile games to Nokia mobile devices through the Nokia Content Discoverer. In the beginning, Nokia customers were able to download 7 EA titles on the holiday season in 2006. Rick Simonson is the Executive Vice President and Director of Nokia, and starting from 2006 is affiliated with John Ruxite and our partners. 2007, in February 2007, Probst stepped down from the CEO job while remaining on the board of directors. His hand-picked successor is John Ruxite, who had worked at EA for several years previously, departed for a while, and then returned. Ruxite previously worked for Elevation Partners, Sara Lee and PepsiCo. In June 2007, new CEO John Ruxite announced that EA would reorganize itself into 4 labels, each with responsibility for its own product development and publishing. The goal of the reorganization was to empower the labels to operate more autonomously, streamline decision-making, increase creativity and quality, and get games into the market faster. This reorganization came after years of consolidation and acquisition by EA of smaller studios, which some in the industry blamed for a decrease in quality of EA titles. In 2008, at the DICE Summit, Ruxite called the earlier approach of buy and assimilate a mistake, often stripping smaller studios of its creative talent. Ruxite said that the city-state model allows independent developers to remain autonomous to a large extent, and cited Maxis and BioWare as examples of studios thriving under the new structure. Also, in 2007, EA announced that it would be bringing some of its major titles to the Macintosh. EA has released Battlefield 2142, Command & Conquer, Tiberium Wars, Crisis, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Madden NFL 08, Need for Speed, Carbon and Spore for the Mac. All of the new games have been developed for the Macintosh using Cider, a technology developed by Transgaming that enables Intel-based Macs to run Windows games inside a translation layer running on Mac OS X. They are not playable on PowerPC-based Macs. In October 2007, EA purchased Supercomputer International, a long-standing industry provider of game server hosting for development studios, who are currently developing the new PlayLink software. A week later they then purchased VG Holding Corporation, the parent company of BioWare and Pandemic Studios. 2008 present, it was revealed in February 2008 that Electronic Arts had made a takeover bid for rival game company Take-Two Interactive. After its initial offer of $25 per share, all-cash stock transaction offer was rejected by the Take-Two board. EA revised it to $26 per share, a 64% premium over the previous day's closing price, and made the offer known to the public. Rumors had been floating around the internet prior to the offer about Take-Two possibly being bought over by a bigger company, albeit with Viacom as the potential bidder. In May 2008, EA announced that it will purchase the assets of Hands On Mobile Korea, a South Korean mobile game developer and publisher. The company will become EA Mobile Korea. In September 2008, EA dropped its buyout offer of Take-Two. No reason was given. As of November 6, 2008, it was confirmed that Electronic Arts is closing their casual label and merging it with their Hasbro partnership with the Sims label. EA also confirmed the departure of Kathy Vrabec, who was given the position as former president of the EA Casual division in May 2007. EA made this statement about the merger: "We've learned a lot about casual entertainment in the past 2 years, and found that casual gaming defies a single genre and demographic." With the retirement and departure of Kathy Vrabec, EA is reorganizing to integrate casual games Euro development and marketing Euro into other divisions of our business. "We are merging our casual studios, Hasbro partnership, and casual marketing organization with the Sims label to be a new Sims and casual label, where there is a deep compatibility in the product design, marketing and demographics. In the days and weeks ahead, we will make further announcements on the reporting structure for the other businesses in the casual label, including EA Mobile, Pogo, media sales and online casual initiatives. Those businesses remain growth priorities for EA and deserve strong support in a group that will complement their objectives." This statement comes a week after EA announced it was laying off 6%, about 600 of their staff positions, and had a $310 million net loss for the quarter. Due to the 2008 economic crisis, Electronic Arts had a poorer than expected 2008 holiday season, moving it in February 2009 to cut approximately 1,100 jobs, which it said represented about 11% of its workforce. It also closed 12 of their facilities. Rick-Site-ILO, in a conference call with reporters, stated that their poor performance in the fourth quarter was not due entirely to the poor economy, but also to the fact that they did not release any blockbuster titles in the quarter. In the quarter ending December 31, 2008, the company lost $641 million. As of early May 2009, the subsidiary studio EA Redwood Shores was known as Visceral Games. On June 24, 2009, EA announced it will merge 2 of its development studios, BioWare and Mythic, into one single role-playing video game and MMO development powerhouse. The move will actually place Mythic under control of BioWare's Ray Musica, and Greg Zeshuk will be in direct control of the new entity. The actual impact of this merger remains to be seen. On November 9, 2009, EA announced its acquisition of social casual games developer Playfish for $275 million. On the same day, the company announced layoffs of 1,500 employees, representing 17% of its workforce, across a number of studios including EA Tiburon, Visceral Games, Mythic and EA Black Box. Also affected were projects and support activities that, according to Chief Financial Officer Eric Brown, don't make economic sense, resulting in the shutdown of popular communities such as Battlefield News at the Wayback Machine and the EA Community Team at the Wayback Machine. These layoffs also led to the complete shutdown of Pandemic Studios. In October 2010, EA announced the acquisition of UK-based iPhone and iPad games publisher Chillingo for $20 million in cash. While Chillingo published the popular Angry Birds for iOS and Cut the Rope for all platforms, but the deal did not include those properties. On July 2012, EA Games called for the repeal of the Defense of Marriage Act. Executives of the company stated that the law is unconstitutional and creates discrimination and tax problems for the company. On March 18, 2013, EA CEO John Ruxitlo has announced that he will be stepping down as CEO and a member of the board of directors, effective March 30, 2013. Larry Probst has also been appointed executive chairman in the same day. Probst, in a company blog post, said John's tenure at EA has been marked by bold decisions, a big vision for online games, a passion for product quality, and an enduring respect for the people who work here. John made an indelible mark on our culture and shaped many of our most successful leaders. Ruxitlo, in a note to employees about his transition, said, "Personally, I think we've never been in a better position as a company. You have made enormous progress in improving product quality. I am so incredibly proud of all the great things you have done, and it has been my honor to lead this team these past 6 years. In April 2013, EA announced a reorganization which was to include dismissal of 10% of their workforce, consolidation of marketing functions which were distributed among the 5 label organizations, and subsumption of Origin operational leadership under the president of labels. In September 2013, Andrew Wilson was appointed CEO of EA. Company structure: EA is headed by Executive Chairman Larry Probst and CEO Andrew Wilson. All of EA's labels and studios are overseen by Frank Gibeau, who was appointed president of EA Labels in 2011. Many have attributed former CEO John Ruxitaylow's success in leading EA to his passion as a gamer. Electronic Arts has 4 main labels, with numerous studios falling under each one. The current labels were created in late 2011. EA Games are home to the largest number of studio and development teams. This label is responsible for action-adventure, role-playing, racing and combat games, marketed under the EA brand. In addition to traditional packaged goods games, EA Games also develops massively multiplayer online role-playing games. Led by Patrick Zaar-Paragraph-Deland. Criterion Games, EA Digital Illusion CE, DICE Los Angeles. Ghost Games, Visceral Games, EA BioWare focuses on creating multi-platform, role-playing, MMO and strategy games. Includes, Waystone Games, BioWare Edmonton, BioWare Austin, BioWare Montreal. EA Sports publishes all the realistic, casual, and freestyle sports-based titles from EA, including FIFA Football, Madden NFL, Fight Night, NBA Live, NCAA Football, Cricket, NCAA March Madness, Tiger Woods PGA Tour, NHL Hockey, NASCAR and Rugby. Led by Patrick Zaar-Paragraph-Deland. EA Tiburon, EA Canada. EA Maxis creates and publishes casual games for gamers and non-traditional gamers. Includes the Sims series in developing and marketing live simulation games and online communities. The label is headquartered at EA's campus in Redwood Shores, although the original studio is located in Emeryville. Formerly EA Play, Maxis Emeryville, The Sims Studio, EA Salt Lake. EA All Play includes original EA and partner franchises like The Simpsons, Tetris, Scrabble, Monopoly, World Series of Poker, Real Racing, Ultima, as well as online games for the Pogo.com online service. PopCap Games, EA Mobile, Fire Monkeys Studios. Studios and subsidiaries, current, BioWare in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada and Montreal, Quebec, Canada and Austin, Texas and Galway, Ireland. Founded in February 1995, acquired October 2007 from Elevation Partners. Chillingo and Macclesfield, United Kingdom, Criterion Games in Guildford, England, founded as Criterion Software in 1993, acquired in August 2004. EA Baton Rouge in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, opened in September 2008. EA Canada in Burnaby, British Columbia, started in January 1983. EA Casual Entertainment, EA China in Shanghai, China, EA Deutschland in Cologne, Germany, EA Digital Illusion CE in Stockholm, Sweden, founded in 1992, acquired in 2005. EA France in Lyon, France, EIS in Madrid, Spain, EA India, Noida, India, EA Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil, EA Korea in Seoul, South Korea, started in 1998. DICE Los Angeles in Los Angeles, California, founded as DreamWorks Interactive LLC in 1995, acquired in 2000. EA Romania in Bucharest, Romania, founded as Jamdat Mobile Romania in 2005, acquired in 2006. EA Russia in Moscow, Russia, translate in Russian, EA Mobile in Hyderabad, India, EA Montreal in Montreal, Quebec, Canada started in 2004. EA San Francisco and Embarcadero, San Francisco, EA Salt Lake and Salt Lake City, Utah, founded as Headgate Studios, founded in 1992, acquired December 2006. EA Singapore in Singapore, EA Sports made up of EA Canada in Burnaby, Canada and EA Tiburon Maitland, Florida, publisher of EA's sports franchise games, EA Tiburon in Maitland, Florida founded as Tiburon Entertainment in 1994, acquired in 1998. Easy Studios in Stockholm, Sweden. Founded in 2008 developing PC games for EA's new Play 4 Free series. ESN in Uppsala, Sweden, founded in 2002, acquired in 2012. Ghost Games in Gothenburg, Sweden and England, UK, Maxis in Emeryville, California. PopCap Games in Seattle, Washington acquired in 2011. The Sim Studio in Redwood City, California founded in 2006. Visceral Games in Redwood City, California, also has an office in Shanghai, China. Founded as EA Redwood Shores in 1998. Defunct, original headquarters in San Mateo, California, moved to Redwood City in 1998. Origin Systems in Austin, Texas founded in 1983, acquired in 1992, closed in 2004. Bullfrog Productions in Surrey, England, founded in 1987, acquired in 1995, merged with EA UK and effectively closed in 2001. EA Baltimore in Baltimore, Maryland, established in 1996 as part of Origin, closed in 2000, EA Seattle in Seattle, Washington, founded in 1982 as Manley and Associates, acquired January 29, 1996, closed in 2002, Maxis in Walnut Creek, California, founded in 1987, acquired in June 1997, folded into Redwood Shores in 2004, Westwood Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, founded in 1987, acquired from Virgin Interactive Entertainment in August 1998, merged into EA Los Angeles in 2003. EA Pacific in Irvine, California, formerly part of Virgin Interactive, acquired with Westwood in 1998, closed in 2003, Kesmai, founded in 1981, acquired in 1999, closed in 2001. DICE Canada in London, Ontario, started in 1998, acquired DICE fully October 2, 2006. Closed DICE Canada studio hours later. EA Japan in Tokyo, Japan, closed due to consolidation. Moved under EA Partners model, EA UK in Chertsey, United Kingdom, moved to EA UK in Guildford, EA Chicago in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, founded in 1990 as NewFX, acquired in 2004, closed November 6, 2007. Pandemic Studios in Los Angeles, California and Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, founded in 1998, acquired October 2007 from Elevation Partners, closed November 17, 2009. Bright Light, in Guildford, Surrey, formerly EA UK, closed in 2011. EA Mobile in Sao Paulo, Brazil, closed in 2013. EA Phenomic in Ingelheim, Germany, founded as Phenomic Game Development in 1997, acquired August 2006 and closed down in 2013. Playfish in London, England, acquired in 2009, closed down in 2013. EA Los Angeles in Los Angeles, founded as DreamWorks Interactive, LLC in 1995, acquired in 2000 and closed down in 2013. EA North Carolina in Murrysville, North Carolina, closed in 2013. Victory Games in Los Angeles, California, also has offices in Austin, Texas and Shanghai, China. Founded in 2010 and closed down in 2013. Mythic Entertainment in Fairfax, Virginia, founded as Interworld Productions in 1995, acquired in June 2006 and closed down in May 2014. EA Partners Program, the EA Partners co-publishing arm is dedicated to publishing and distributing games developed by third-party developers. Notable publishing distribution agreements include, APB Euro Real-Time Worlds, Bra 1/4 Tal Legend Euro Double Fine Productions, Bulletstorm Euro Epic Games, Crisis Series Euro Critic, Deathspank Euro Hothead Games, Fuse Insomniac Games, Hellgate, London Flagship Studios, Kingdoms of Amalur, Reckoning 38 Studios, Big Huge Games, Rock Band Series Harmonix and MTV Games, The Secret World Funsom, Shadows of the Damned Grasshopper Manufacture, Shank Cly Entertainment, Syndicate Star Breeze Studios, Titanfall Respawn Entertainment, Warp Trapdoor. Games. Notable games published. Some of the most notable and popular games of video game history have been published by EA, and many of these are listed below. Though EA published these titles, they did not always develop them. Some were developed by independent game development studios. EA developed their first internally developed game in 1987. Pinball Construction Set by Bill Budge, Arkn and Arkn 2, Adept by Freefall Associates, MULE. By Dan Bunton and Ozark Softscape, One-on-One, Dr. J vs. Larry Bird by Eric Hammond, Music Construction Set by Will Harvey, The Seven Cities of Gold by Dan Bunton and Ozark Softscape, The Bard's Tale by Interplay Productions, Mail Order Monsters by Paul Raish 3, Evan Robinson and Nikki Robinson, Racing Destruction Set by Rick Koenig, Instant Music by Robert Campbell, Starflight by Binary Systems, Skate or Die. EA's first internally developed title, Zany Golf, by Sandcastle Productions, Madden NFL Series, Populous by Bullfrog which EA acquired in 1995, The Immortal by Sandcastle Productions, NHL Series, Wing Commander Series, Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf by EA's High Score Production Group, FIFA Series, Kasparov's Gambit by Heuristic Software, NCAA Football Series, Need for Speed Series, Dungeon Keeper Series by Bullfrog Productions, Ultima Online by Origin Systems, NASCAR Series, Command & Conquer Series by Westwood Studios, SimCity Series by Maxis, Medal of Honor Series, System Shock 2, James Bond Series, American McGee's Alice, SSX Series, The Sims by Maxis, Harry Potter Series, Battlefield Series by EA Digital Illusion CE, Burnout Series, The Sims 2 by Maxis, Dark Age of Camelot, The Sims Stories Series by Asper and EA, Crysis Series by Crytek, Rock Band Series by Harmonix, Skate Series by EA Black Box, Warhammer Online, Age of Reckoning by Mythic Entertainment, Spore Series by Maxis, Army of Two Series by EA Montreal, Dead Space Series by Visceral Games, Mirror's Edge by EA Digital Illusion CE, Dragon Age Series by BioWare, Mass Effect Series by BioWare, The Sims 3 by The Sims Studio, Dante's Inferno by Visceral Games. Star Wars, The Old Republic by BioWare. Electronic Arts also published a number of non-game titles. The most popular of these was closely related to the video game industry and was actually used by several of their developers. Deluxe Paint premiered on the Amiga in 1985 and was later ported to other systems. The last version in the line, Deluxe Paint V, was released in 1994. Other non-game titles include Music Construction Set, Deluxe Paint Animation and Instant Music. EA also published a black and white animation tool called Studio/1, and a series of paint titles on the Macintosh, Studio/8 and Studio/32. Games in development, 2014 release, Madden NFL 15, NHL 15, FIFA 15, The Sims 4, Dragon Age, Inquisition, 2015 release, Battlefield Hardline, TBA, Dawngate, Mirror's Edge 2, Star Wars, Battlefront, Untitled Mass Effect Game, Untitled BioWare New IP, Untitled Criterion Games New IP, Criticism, Studio Acquisition and Management Practices. During its period of fastest growth, EA was often criticized for buying smaller development studios primarily for their intellectual property assets, and then producing drastically changed games of their franchises. For example, Origin produced Ultima 8, Pagan and Ultima 9, Ascension were developed quickly under EA's ownership, over the protests of Ultima creator Richard Garriott, and these two are widely considered to be subpar compared to the rest of the series. In early 2008, CEO John Ruxaitillo acknowledged that this practice by EA was wrong and that the company now gives acquired studios greater autonomy without meddling in their corporate culture. In 2008, John D. Carmack of id Software said that EA is no longer the evil empire, and decided to go with EA partners, despite having a poor opinion of the publisher's past record. "I'll admit that, if you asked me years ago, I still had thoughts that EA was the evil empire, the company that crashes the small studios. I'd have been surprised if you told me a year ago that we'd end up with EA as a publisher. When we went out and talked to people, especially EA partners, people like Valve, we got almost uniformly positive responses from them." Like other EA partners, such as Harmonix MTV Games, Carmack stressed that EA partners' deal isn't really a publishing arrangement. Instead, they really offer a menu of service. Valve takes one set of things, Crytek takes a different set, and we're probably taking a third set. EA was criticized for shutting down some of its acquired studios after they released poorly performing games. Though, in some of the cases, the shutdown was merely a reformation of teams working at different small studios into a single studio. In the past, Magic Carpet 2 was rushed to completion over the objections of designer Peter Molyneux, and it shipped during the holiday season with several major bugs. Studios such as Origin and Bullfrog Productions had previously produced games attracting significant fan bases. Many fans also became annoyed that their favorite developers were closed down, but some developers, for example the EA LA studio, have stated that they try to carry on the legacy of the old studio. Once EA received criticism from labor groups for its dismissals of large groups of employees during the closure of a studio. However, later, it was confirmed that layoffs were not heavily confined to one team or another, countering early rumors that the teams were specifically targeted, countering the implication that the underperformance of certain games might have been the catalyst. EA was once criticized for the acquisition of 19.9% of shares of its competitor Ubisoft, a move that Ubisoft's then spokesperson initially described as a hostile act. However, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot later indicated that a merger with EA was a possibility, stating, "The first option for us is to manage our own company and grow it. The second option is to work with the movie industry, and the third is to merge." However, in July 2010, EA elected to sell its reduced 15% share in Ubisoft. That share equated to roughly a $94 million treatment of employees. In 2004, Electronic Arts was criticized for employees working extraordinarily long hours, up to 100 hours per week, and not just at crunch times leading up to the scheduled releases of products. The publication of the EA Spouse blog, with criticisms such as the current mandatory hours are 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week with the occasional Saturday evening off for good behavior. The company has since settled a class action lawsuit brought by game artists to compensate for unpaid overtime. The class was awarded $15.6 million. As a result, many of the lower-level developers are now working at an hourly rate. A similar suit brought by programmers was settled for $14.9 million. Since these criticisms first aired, it has been reported that EA has taken steps to address work-life balance concerns by focusing on long-term project planning, compensation, and communication with employees. These efforts accelerated with the arrival of John Ruxaitillo as CEO in February 2007. In December 2007, an internal EA employee survey showed a 13% increase in employee morale and a 21% increase in perception of management recognition over a 3-year period. In May 2008, EA Spouse blog author Aaron Hoffman, speaking to video game industry news site Gamasutra, stated that EA had made significant progress, but may now be falling into old patterns again. Hoffman said that "I think EA is tremendously reformed, having made some real strong efforts to get the right people into their human resources department, and I've been hearing from people who have gotten overtime pay there, and I think that makes a great deal of difference. In fact, I've actually recommended to a few people I know to apply for jobs there," but she also said she has begun to hear horror stories once again. Game quality: for 2006, The games review aggregation site Metacritic gives the average of EA games as 72.0. 2.5 points behind Nintendo but ahead of the other first-party publishers Microsoft and Sony. The closest third-party publisher is Take-Two Interactive at 70.3. The remaining top 10 publishers all rate in the mid-60s. Since 2005, EA has published 8 games that received universal acclaim: Battlefield 2, Crysis, Rock Band, FIFA 12, FIFA 13, Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3 and Dragon Age: Origins. EA's aggregate review performance had shown a downward trend in quality over recent years and was expected to affect market shares during competitive seasons. Pacific Crest Securities analyst Evan Wilson had said, "Poor reviews and quality are beginning to tarnish the EA brand." According to our ongoing survey of GameRankings.com aggregated review data, Electronic Arts' overall game quality continues to fall. Although market share has not declined dramatically to date, in years such as 2007, which promises to have tremendous competition, it seems likely if quality does not improve. EA had also received criticism for developing games that lack innovation vis-à-vis the number of gaming titles produced under the EA brand that show a history of yearly updates, particularly in their sporting franchises. These typically retail as new games at full market price and feature only updated team rosters in addition to incremental changes to game mechanics, the user interface, and graphics. One critique compared EA to companies like Ubisoft and concluded that EA's innovation in new and old IPs crawls along at a snail's pace, while even the company's own CEO, John Ruxitiello, acknowledged the lack of innovation seen in the industry generally, saying, "We're boring people to death and making games that are harder and harder to play." For the most part, the industry has been rinse and repeat. There's been lots of product that looked like last year's product, that looked a lot like the year before. EA has announced that it is turning its attention to creating new game IPs in order to stem this trend, with recently acquired and critically acclaimed studios BioWare and Pandemic would be contributing to this process. In 2012, unregistered trademark S games were ranked highest of all large publishers in the industry, according to Metacritic. In June 2013, EA attracted criticism from users for replacing its Scrabble app on Facebook with a new version that did not retain players' histories and statistics. The new version added functionality including support for other languages and board customization. Antitrust Lawsuit. On June 5, 2008, a lawsuit was filed in Oakland, California alleging Electronic Arts is breaking United States antitrust laws by signing exclusive contracts with the NFL Players Association, the NCAA and Arena Football League, to use players' names, likenesses and team logos. This keeps other companies from being able to sign the same agreements. The suit further accuses EA of raising the price of games associated with these licenses as a result of this action. In an interview with GameTap, Peter Moore said it was the NFL that sought the deal. To be clear, the NFL was the entity that wanted the exclusive relationship. EA bid, as did a number of other companies, for the exclusive relationship, Moore said. It wasn't on our behest that this went exclusive. We bid and we were very fortunate and lucky and delighted to be the winning licensee. More recently, EA has been sued by former NCAA players for allegedly using their images without compensation. EULA and DRM. In the September 2008 release of EA's game Spore, it was revealed that the DRM scheme included a program called Securom and a lifetime machine activation limit of 3 instances. A huge public outcry over this DRM scheme broke out over the internet and swarmed Amazon.com with 1-star ratings and critical reviews of the game in order to get EA to pay attention to their consumers. This DRM scheme, which was intended to hinder the efforts of pirates to illegally use and distribute EA software, instead mainly affected paying customers, as the game itself was pirated well before release. On September 13, 2008, it was announced that Spore was the most pirated game ever with over 500,000 illegal downloads within the first week of release. In response to customer reaction, EA officially announced its release of upcoming Command & Conquer: Red Alert 3 would increase the installation limit to 5 rather than 3. On September 22, 2008, a global class action lawsuit was filed against EA regarding the DRM in Spore, complaining about EA not disclosing the existence of Securum in the game manual, and addressing how Securum runs with the nature of a rootkit, including how it remains on the hard drive even after Spore is uninstalled. On October 14, 2008, a similar class action lawsuit was filed against EA for the inclusion of DRM software in the free demo version of the Creature Creator. On March 31, 2009, EA released a deauthorization management tool that allows customers who have installed games containing the Securum activation scheme to deauthorize a computer, freeing up one of the 5 machine slots to be used on another machine. On June 24, 2009, EA announced and formalized a change in its approach to preventing piracy of PC games. The company plans to drop all DRM from its games, replacing it with a traditional CD key check. However, games will include content that is not present on the disc, requiring a download during the activation of the game. The intent is to create an incentive to buy a legitimate copy of the game. A general policy has been laid out with plans envisioning games more as services with a lot of content to freely download or buy linked to the game, some goodies and regular updates as a way to coax players to use the genuine copies of EA games. In 2013, EA received criticism regarding its persistent online authentication system as implemented in the SimCity reboot. Advertising: EA's advertising campaign for Dead Space 2 was at first admired, but soon described as sexist and ageist, with some claiming that it was reinforcing outdated stereotypes against female and older gamers. The game is rated M for mature, and is therefore only recommended for players over the age of 17. Others thought the advertisements were pointless and would hurt market share. The video games campaign hinges on a unique premise, one that ignores how much the culture of gaming has changed. As of 2010, 40% of video game players were women and the average game player was 34 years old. For the advertising campaign, 200 women were selected for their conservative values and lack of familiarity with video games. Their reactions to a screening of the game were featured in EA's web and TV advertisements with the campaign's slogan "Your Mom Hates Dead Space 2." On February 24, 2011, the Extra Credits team published the episode An Open Letter to EA Marketing, denouncing Electronic Arts' marketing decisions for the Dante's Inferno, Medal of Honor and Dead Space 2 releases. They argue that EA's decisions to hire fake protesters and market games solely on shock value, while neglecting to defend the Medal of Honor on a First Amendment basis for letting the player play as the Taliban, have been hurtful to the gaming industry. They also argue that the advertisements are counterproductive to Electronic Arts' wishes to elevate games to an art medium as demonstrated in the 1980s Electronic Arts ad "Can a Computer Make You Cry?" Collegiate Player Likeness Lawsuit. On September 26, 2013, EA settled a series of wide-ranging class action lawsuits filed by former NCAA players accusing EA and others of unauthorized use of player likenesses in their football and basketball games. EA settled the lawsuit for an undisclosed amount. The settlement is reported to be around $40 million, to be paid to between 200,000 and 300,000 players. Battlefield 4 downloadable content bugs lawsuit. On December 19, 2013, EA was hit with class action lawsuit over the bugs in the Battlefield 4 DLC. EA issued a statement regarding the various issues and bugs of the game and promised players that these issues would be fixed before the launch of the next-generation consoles. This was not the case as players on both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One had the same problems. The problems were so severe that they made certain parts of the game unplayable due to campaign save files being corrupted and players being unable to start or join multiplayer servers. Players expressed their outrage on the forums of Battlelog, EA Answers headquarters and social news sites such as Reddit. EA DICE responded by apologizing for the bugs and promising that they would halt all production of the release of new DLC packages until they fixed the various problems. Multiplayer shutdown. EA announced that they are going to shut down more than 50 multiplayer games on June 30, 2014 as the GameSpy multiplayer server are going to shut down and make the resources available for newer games title. The games include PC, Nintendo DS, and Nintendo Games. See also, History of video games, List of Electronic Arts games, references. Further reading, Player 4 Stage 4, But Is It Arts? A History of the Early Electronic Arts, Innovation, Does Size Matter? From GameSpot.com, original EA Spouse blog on workers of EA, aftermath of EA Spouse blog, game makers see workplace changes at the Wayback Machine. From News.com, what's the coolest job ever? Electronic Arts summer interns tell their story, article on interning at EA on eatworld.com, the escapist article on EA's relationship towards Origin, Bonnie, Alon. The Conquest of Origin, Origin created worlds, EA shipped games, EA won. Retrieved September 25, 2006. External links, official website, Electronic Arts at DMOZ, Electronic Arts profile on Moby Games, EA Mobile profile on Mobile Games DB, EA Games at the Wayback Machine, Electronic Arts at the Wayback Machine, Electronic Arts at the Wayback Machine.